simple steps. I am right now in Maui in Hawaii. So we've got a different beach in a different part of the Pacific today. And I'm going to be sharing this from the point of view of my personal experience and also a number of stories of others who I'm sure you would have heard of. Jack Canfield, first of all, who is one of the best-selling authors in the world. He created the Chicken Soup series with Mark Victor Hansen. We have the Genius Guide to Success coming out with Jack in a couple of weeks' time. Jack is the founder of the Transformational Leadership Council, which is the group that I'm here as part of over this week in Maui. We meet several times every year, different parts of the world, connecting with others. And you could almost argue that this is part of Jack's purpose, which is, just connecting with thought leaders, bringing people together. So how did it work? It happened through the same 3 steps that I'm about to share with you. It wasn't a matter of Jack having some kind of revelation, let's bring together top thought leaders around the world. It was actually something really simple, a taxi ride. So the story is actually in Janet Attwood's book, The Passion Test. As you know, we've now got the Passion Test with Janet and Chris Attwood online. You can go take the links below. So what I'm about to share with you that Jack went through is free for you to go through as well, to find your top 5 passions. Janet was like testing out on friends of hers, what are the passions of my friends? And she went to Jack, who had just got off stage at one of his events, and said, Jack, you've got to take this test. Jack was like, well, I'm kind of busy at the moment. I'm going to the airport. Hop in the cab with me. So Janet hopped in the cab, did the test on the way to the airport, and Jack found out his top 5 passions. Some of them really not a surprise, like, he loves teaching, he loves going out there speaking. But one of them really struck him, which was that he saw as a passion of his connecting up with thought leaders, learning from them, and he realized he hadn't been spending enough time doing that. So that's what led him to set up the Transformational Leadership Council. Your passion is the keyhole to your purpose. So this first step is that flow leads to fortune. Don't think it's just going to kind of like hit you as a revelation. It might for some people, but for most of us, it's the small steps that lead to the bigger picture. Flow leads to fortune is about the fact that as we get into flow, just like if you've got a muddy river, you don't get into flow by trying to get the mud out. You get into flow by flowing new water through. As flow goes through and creates clarity, in the same way our fortune, which is like a radio station. If you think about your future, you can foretell, which is to talk about the future. You can foresee, which is to see the future. Or to fortune is to tune into your future. It's actually a tuning in, which is a little bit like just a little bit of tuning in to the dial as you go. And if you think about it that way around, you can tune into it in 3 different ways. On the one hand, if you think of Fortuna as the Greek goddess of luck, fortune is luck. To have good luck is to have good fortune. As luck starts showing up, you're on the right path. You can think of fortune like wealth. As you start accumulating wealth or it starts showing up, well, that's to create a fortune. That also is a pretty good sign you're on the right track. And the third aspect, like I mentioned in terms of legacy, to tune into your future, when we can tell the future, you can almost sense what's going to happen next, and then it shows up and it happens. That synchronicity, that's also an element of understanding that fortune is the 3 of them all linked together. So in your life, what already could you be doing to create more flow? And as that flow starts showing up, know you're on that right track. Start by taking the passion test, take the genius test if you haven't done that. The links are down below so you can make sure that you are following the right paths to where you're wanting to go. And that leads to the second element, which is that altitude creates aptitude. So this is not about just moving forward, it's about moving upwards. Everything we've been doing in the last 13 episodes has been about moving upwards through the lighthouse. We've covered so far the foundation prism, which is your personal flow. And you might think, geez, I just want to build my business. Do I really have to focus on my personal flow? Yes, because you need to earn the right to be able to flow into the journey of others. Just like if I was to want to sail across the oceans, I'd need to learn how to swim first, not because the crew I want to join expects me to swim across the ocean, but they do expect I can swim. And that earns me the right to be on the crew in the first place. So by you tuning into your own personal flow first, your personal flow of energy, your time, your place, your money, so that you've gone beyond infrared, which we've gone through already, negative cash flow, you're now going to at least survivor level, which is red level, now going orange level, which is positive, cash flow positive, which now means, okay, I can swim, I'm above ground, if money comes my way, I know what to do with it. That then leads you into now the next 3 levels we're going to cover, where we actually have an opportunity to create that speedboat yellow level where we actually can build our own business, green level, which we're going to get into, going from player to performer, which is now going from a speedboat to a ship with a crew, where it's not one person doing all things, it's all people doing one thing. And then the final level in market flow, which is the enterprise prism conductor, where you're attracting other performers, multiple businesses, multiple investments. That's all coming. But that's all about altitude. That it's not just about getting a better signal as you go higher up the mountain. It's about others getting a better signal of you as well. It's not just about your input, it's about your output. You can see the person up the top of the mountain a whole lot easier than the one stuck in the forest. So your ability to be able to actually ascend up is going to make all the difference to you being able to make that difference in the world. And that's going to lead finally from Enterprise Prism to the top 3, which is Alchemy Prism. Alchemy Prism is now earning the right, being able to not just manage your personal flow or market flow, but now being able to actually be able to manage social flow, global flow. And that's what's happening to some of the most successful entrepreneurs around the world. They're out making bigger differences sometimes than even governments. So this kind of leads to the third level, which is after the first one, all about flow leading to fortune, and the second one, altitude leading to aptitude. The third aspect is that contribution, daily contribution leads to your purpose. Like today you're ready, you're living your purpose. It's whatever you're contributing to today. Maybe you're contributing to your family. Maybe you're contributing to your health or to your personal bank account. Whatever it is that you have been contributing to today already is a clue to your purpose. We're all contributing in some way. You know, as David Letterman says, he says everyone's got a purpose. Maybe yours is watching television. Whatever you're contributing today is your purpose. Why is that so important? You think about someone like Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates, richest man in the world, one of the biggest contributors and philanthropists in the world. He's out making a difference in healthcare in third world countries, but that wasn't the purpose when he started. What started was him being there saying, how can I contribute today? This is like, what, 30 years ago, beginning of Microsoft. And he says, the way I can contribute is by putting my software in libraries. So he went and he did that. And then he thought, well, maybe there's a better way to do this. And after several years, he changed from libraries to schools. Then he changed from schools to inner city schools. And then to schools in Africa. And then he's like, wait, hang on, what they really need isn't computers, it's healthcare. And then preventable diseases, something that he can actually already make a bigger difference in today. One thing led to another until today he's out living a very, very different purpose than he would have been living some 30 years ago. But at every moment he was contributing in some way. So however you're contributing today already is a clue to your purpose, and you can keep on lifting it as you go through these levels and as we go through the levels in the coming videos as well. I'll report back to you because I'm going to be here for the rest of this week, and then I go to Los Angeles where I'll be part of Peter Diamandis' group, the Abundance 360, and we're going to be looking at the future and connecting up with futurists and entrepreneurs in California. And then I'll be in South Africa and I'll be in Australia. I'd love to catch up with you there. Follow the links below to kind of like get yourself some tickets, and I look forward to seeing you in one of those countries. And whatever you're now focusing your contribution and your purposes, post them in the notes below. Right, post your comments, love to hear from you, and looking forward to catching up on the next video. Until then, keep living your purpose, keep just taking those little baby steps, and remember at the end of the day, flow leads to fortune, and your fortune is just out there waiting for you. Till the next video, we will catch up with you later, and that's me signing off from Maui, Hawaii.